The RLD bringing the Jat vote bank, the Samajwadi Party bringing the Muslim vote bank. If these two communities were to combine, it's a game changer in Western UP, make no doubt about it. But in the last few elections in 2019, in 2017, before that and even in 2014, the Jats have voted largely as Hindus and have voted for the BJP. Will this new alliance alter the electoral dynamics? To talk about this, I'm joined live and exclusive on the news track by the big newsmaker of the day. He's been campaigning through Western UP, trying to revive and carry forward his family's rich legacy. Jayant Chaudhary, National President of the RLD. He was at that big rally with Akhilesh Yadav this morning. Welcome, Jayant Chaudhary, to the news track. The last time there was a UP ke Ladke alliance in Uttar Pradesh was in 2017 when Rahul Gandhi and Akhilesh Yadav went up against Modi and Shah together. They came a cropper. What makes you hopeful that this alliance between the RLD and the SP, between Jayant Chaudhary and Akhilesh Yadav, will alter and disrupt the electoral dynamics of Western UP? Jayant Chaudhary, welcome.
Hi. See, last election was a different election. BJP had dominated the national scene and it had not been in power in BJP in Uttar Pradesh for many years. So there was a newness to the party. And of course, they ran a very aggressive campaign. There was a whole campaign on polarization. And in fact, if you remember, Prime Minister came down and he was talking about Shamshan Ghats and those sort of petty issues which we thought the voters would see through and would not accept. But in fact, it gave BJP a huge majority. But I think a lot of water has flown under the bridge. There were a lot of expectations. A brute majority was handed over to BJP. Largely, it is the non-performance of the legislators, of the chief minister, of the government in its entirety. The fact that they made so many promises which they've not been able to keep. Also, the farmer agitation, which goes beyond any region or caste or those sort of traditional affinities. Have been broken because all over the country there was a wholehearted acceptance of the struggle of farmers and people wanted to stand by them. And especially in our region in Western UP, we organized a number of panchayats which were attended by people across communities. So there was widespread support for the movement, which now people will see that they were in the right. The last 1 year, the issues that people were taking up and campaigning for, that eventually it was people's power that won. And that will also give our cadres, our workers, a lot of sort of motivation to work at the grassroots.
But what's changed dramatically is that the farmers have now agreed, it seems, to call off their agitation. The government has taken back the 3 farm laws and the farmers are saying, since most of their demands have been accepted, they will not carry forward their agitation. Does that then diffuse farmer anger in Western Uttar Pradesh and give the BJP an opportunity to try and win the community back?
Let's be very honest. It's the starting of December and the government's claim was that farmers' income will be doubled by 2022. It has not happened. Today's meeting was in Meerut, and in Meerut zone there are about 66,000 farmers who have Nalkoop electricity connections for irrigating their lands. And about 160 crore is owed by these very farmers. On the other hand, sugarcane, which is the biggest crop in this region in Western UP in several districts, it's supposed to be a cash crop where payments are supposed to be made out in 14 days. A distinct promise was made by Prime Minister Modi, by Shri Amit Shah, by Chief Minister, that payment will be made in 14 days. It has not happened. So there was a deep-rooted disenchantment. There is agrarian distress. Farm prices at the mandi gates have not been remunerative. And that all led to a conducive environment for the sort of revolt that you saw. Yes, the farm laws were not acceptable for people. People were saying that we don't have mandis in Uttar Pradesh. We are forced to travel to Haryana to sell our paddy. Why not build mandis here? Why are you devastating a system and a structure that works in our neighboring states? So there was resentment. But to say that just by taking the laws back, BJP has done a big favor to farmers, no. People are still very angry. Shri Teni is still a minister in government and people will hold BJP accountable for the last 1 year and for the many lives that we lost.
The buzz in Uttar Pradesh is that you're likely to fight between 34 to 37 seats, which is what the Samajwadi Party alliance is likely to offer you. While it is quite conceivable that on the seats where the RLD puts up a Jat candidate, the SP will be able to transfer its Muslim vote bank to the RLD. The big question is whether you can transfer the Jat vote bank to the SP's candidates, because after the 2013 Muzaffarnagar riots, dynamics in Western Uttar Pradesh have changed. The traditional RLD supporters have been supporting the BJP, and therefore this is not the Western Uttar Pradesh of your grandfather or even your father. You are dealing with a very different electoral dynamic, Jayant.
See, even in the last parliament election, it's not as if we didn't get vote. I got more than 5 lakh votes. My father, lost after getting 6 lakh votes. And number of BSP MPs who have won from Western UP, you can ask them whether or not our vote transferred in their favor in the Mahagathbandhan. I will not be drawn into this simplistic analysis of Jats and Muslims. That's not how it really ever plays out. I think you need cross-section support to be able to really win. And given the enthusiasm that is very, very visible in our meetings, you see, unlike the government meetings where people are being hauled and they're not even sitting through the meetings, they're walking away, the level of excitement, the young people who are coming, I think that's a sign that times have changed. We have done some campaigning as well at the grassroots. We're running a Bahujan Uday Abhiyan, where we're asking our cadre to go to Dalit villages, SC villages, and build our organization, build our grassroots organization in the booths where we were weak. In fact, in today's stage, Prabhut Kumar, who's in the family of Mayawati ji, joined RLD. So everything is fluid. People are sensing that it is going to be an election between two principal players. On one side, our Gathbandhan, and on the other is the incumbent BJP. And therefore, it will not just be a Jat-Muslim combination, but I feel that it is do or die for farmer politics, for farmers' issues, for the development of Uttar Pradesh.
But your sense of anger abating, the fact that if the laws hadn't been taken back, the scenario would have been different. Farmers would have had a festering wound. Remember what happened in 2017, right before the elections. The Jat, even at that time, was upset with the BJP. There was a video of Home Minister Amit Shah that went viral. And between the anger and actual voting day, the BJP was able to win the Jat voter back. You're saying this time is different. What makes you think that this time is different? Why do you believe that the laws being taken back will not help calm farmer anger?
See, last election, what you were saying that Amit Shah ji did a meeting, he did do a meeting. It is not the impact of that meeting that we were not able to convert into wins. The issue was we were left out at the last minute of an alliance between Congress and SP, which was widely expected that we will also be a part of that alliance. So therefore, our voters also were a little disappointed, and they realized that we will not be able to win, that we were left alone in the fray and that we were not prepared. And that's why they shifted to BJP. It's not as if Shri Amit Shah ji, I respect him, but I don't think he has any emotional connection with the farming communities and especially the Jats. So that was not the reason for BJP doing well. As for this election, like I said, you have to understand the psyche of this region. This region has witnessed a number of large agrarian movements, social movements, a lot of uprisings. Many times we have got our farmers to Delhi. Many times we've had the government take a step back. And it is not as if the government gets the credit. If you remember, in 2009, there was a sugarcane FRP movement that we led. Farmers came down. And the then government, Shri Manmohan Singh ji, as Prime Minister, understood. And they backtracked. And they changed the law that was already proposed in Parliament. But it's not as if the farmers going back after that win were saying thank you to government. No, that's not how it happens. Especially after it's a protracted sort of agitation for over 1 year. They've faced lathis, they've faced water cannons, they've been called names, they've been called terrorists, the fact that they're not really farmers. So even now, it's not as if the arrogance of BJP has gone away. So it's an attitudinal issue. And I think looking at the sort of history of this area, of this region, people today in Western UP are saying that we have won. This is not something that was gifted to us, and clearly Prime Minister's vision, Prime Minister's commitment to farmers' cause is in doubt.
The big development now in Western UP has been the demand for a Krishna Janmabhoomi temple. It's an old demand, but it's been revived again, now receiving sanction from senior BJP leaders like Deputy Chief Minister Keshav Maurya, who tweeted, Ayodhya Kashi Bhavya Mandir Nirman Jari hai, Mathura ki taiyari hai. It was said earlier by the likes of the VHP and some fringe organizations. Now the BJP seems to be upping the ante on Mathura. If this gains traction in and around the areas of Mathura, which is in Western UP, do you see that pose problems to your alliance?
See, what are the real issues, Rahul? Look at the state of Uttar Pradesh. Government claims that we have pothole-free roads. In 2019, 1,000 people died in Uttar Pradesh in road accidents only because of potholes. Look at law and order. We have the highest number of rape and kidnapping cases in Uttar Pradesh. Look at our education. One of the highest dropout rates for girl students is in Uttar Pradesh. 14.2% of our girl students in Uttar Pradesh drop out after the 8th class and they never come back to school. Look at the state of malnutrition. In July 2021, Srimati Smriti Irani in Rajya Sabha, as a reply for Women Child Development Ministry, admitted that there were 9.3 lakh SAM cases, severe acutely malnutrition cases, out of which 4 lakh were from the state of Uttar Pradesh. So I would beg to differ with this analysis. I feel that the real issues are somewhere else. It's about unemployment, it's about development, it's about the hopes and dreams and aspirations of our young people. And I'm sorry, a Krishna Mandir is not part of that.
Is there space still for
And I'm
the
saying
Congress?
this as I'm saying this, Rahul, as a representative of Mathura. Krishnji was one of the most liberal sort of godly figures we have in our religious pantheons. He was liked and revered by people across religions. All over Southeast Asia, you'll go and there are Krishna Bhakts. Even in the Western world, you'll find people organize themselves and talk about the Leelas of Krishnji. So this is not a figure where you can generate the level of animosity that BJP hopes to achieve.
Is there space for the Congress still on the SP RLD cycle?
No, I don't think so, because I think we've already moved ahead. Our plans, our discussions are at a stage where we have discussed very minutely what is the winnable candidate, what is the winning combination, and Congress doesn't feature in that plan.
And finally, how important is this election, Jayant Chaudhary, to you personally? Your grandfather, your father held massive sway. You've been slogging it out in the field, but you don't yet have the same kind of stature amongst your voters and in the community as your father and grandfather did, because you haven't been able so far on your watch to lead them to a big election victory. In your own political career and graph, do you think this election will define you, will be a make or break of sorts for Jayant Chaudhary?
Well, I've been in this space active for 20 years now. I've been in parliament, I've lost elections, I've won elections. So at a personal level, it's not as if I am hankering for, sort of individual glory at this point. My only desire is, yes, to make RLD a credible platform, a viable platform. And of course, after my father's passing, Chaudhary Ajit Singh Ji's passing, there is an emotional sort of connect for me, for our supporters. We want to see this election as being part of our way of, showing our respect for him and his life. So at a very emotional level, it's important for me that we are able to win. But I think looking at the issues, it's very, very important. It's a do-or-die election for the people and voters of Uttar Pradesh.
Well, you're sounding calm, composed and confident in this interview, but that matters very little. What matters is whether on polling day, you can turn that sentiment into support, and that support into a vote, and that vote into victory. That is what will judge and define your success in this election. We wish you all the best. Jayant Chaudhary, for joining us on this big day. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rahul.